Still sounding good. We're still here. And it seems to be focused enough on me. So let's get started. I now have the monitor right behind the camera, so that's going to be a little distracting. Hi, welcome to the channel. My name is Farrell, not Carol, not Sarah, not Beryl, Farrell, like Colin Farrell, or Will Farrell, or a feral cat. I'm Farrell, and today we're going to be talking about Project Hail Mary. So I wasn't initially going to talk about this, but then I remembered that I made this YouTube channel in order to talk about books and their adaptations. And I've listened to the audiobook of Project Hail Mary. I fell in love with this book as soon as I got used to the narrator. It's been a while since I've read a book that captured me so completely. So I was really excited to go see the movie. I made plans with a big group of friends. Half of us had read the book, half of us hadn't. So there were quite a few people going in completely blind that hadn't even seen the trailer. I was looking forward to hearing what they thought of the story. And by the time I went to go see the movie, which was only a few days after it had released in theaters, by that point, a ton of reviews had already come out praising how wonderful the movie turned out to be. So, my expectations, knowing it was a great story and knowing that the movie was getting high praise, my expectations were pretty high. I'm going to try really hard to talk about the movie without giving away any major spoilers, but I will say I left the theater feeling slightly disappointed, and I wasn't sure why. And sorry if I wore these earrings cuz I felt like they were very similar to Rocky's like creations. Um but I'm now concerned that they're going to be loud in the here. Hold on, let me do a test. I think it's okay. Is that going to be annoying? I'm asking myself, I guess. Oh well, if it's annoying, it's annoying. It is what it is. Okay. We're still rolling. Yeah. So I left the theater feeling disappointed, and I didn't really understand why. On the surface, the movie hit every single plot point that you would want it to. Ryan Gosling absolutely nailed Rylan Grace. I couldn't think of a better actor to play that part. He brought a lot of humor to a character that is able to keep things pretty light considering the circumstances that he's under. And I didn't really fully understand what issue I was having with the movie until I watched a review from someone who hadn't read the book. They pointed out that the movie felt very campy and that they knew that everything was going to turn out all right because of the tone that the movie set early on. And that's when it clicked for me because reading the book, the character is on a suicide mission and it seems very unlikely, in fact, impossible for most of the book for him to return. On top of that, he's now tasked with saving all of humanity on his own when he was supposed to have two other people there to help him figure things out. Andy Weir's other novel, set in space, The Martian, is actually a perfect example of the tone and weight that I was kind of expecting from Project Hail Mary. I haven't read the book. I imagine that I probably should since I enjoyed Project Hail Mary so much and I really enjoyed the movie, The Martian. But that movie perfectly captures the seriousness that I was expecting from Project Hail Mary. Matt Damon is able to keep things positive and light and funny, but also have a certain weight to his performance. And I'm not saying that Ryan Gosling didn't. There were definitely moments when you could feel all of Ryan Gosling's feelings, the good and the bad, the lighter ones and the heavier ones. You felt everything that he was trying to portray, and he did it well. But like for example, there's this scene near the end of the movie where Rylan Grace finds out some really intense information and you see on Ryan Gosling's face all of that slowly being absorbed, right? And then not 10 seconds later, he's almost hilariously climbing all over the cabinets in order to try and escape. That scene in the book, I was poof, like I'm getting emotional now even thinking about it, but in the movie theater I wanted to laugh cuz it was funny. It was kind of comedic. For that moment, I didn't want it to be. You know what I mean? Like, there was plenty of other moments in the movie that were perfectly lighthearted, perfectly humorous, perfectly comedic. Lots of moments between Grace and Rocky, right? But then the moments that I wanted to feel really heavy, they just didn't have any weight to them, unfortunately. And I think that's what I was really missing from it because I felt that weight listening to the audiobook. That the writing brought that weight with it. This sense of there's just no way home for him, you know? And apparently this is a really bad time to record because now I have the sun coming in from that angle. So this whole all my lights mean absolutely nothing right now, but whatever. It is what it is. Anyways, that's my biggest takeaway from the movie, comparing it to the book. I'm gonna go back and watch it again and try to enjoy it for what it is. I loved Ryan Gosling's interpretation of Ryland Grace. Sandra Hüller as Strat, like, you couldn't have picked a better person. And Rocky, I was so grateful that they used puppeting and not CGI. It made the character feel as real as as he felt in, or I don't know if he has a gender, but as real as they felt in the book, right? And so I want to be able to go back now knowing what I'm getting myself into to then try and enjoy it for what it is rather than what I wanted it to be. Anyways, I think those are all my thoughts for today. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here before I throw off my white balance any more than I already have. Because this is going to be impossible to edit with how blown out half of my face is right now. Anyways, let me know your thoughts. This is really just the one aspect that I've had time to think about and process. I'm sure there are other things that I could have talked about, but I didn't write a script. I didn't take notes. So I just kind of wanted to get on here and chitty chats about it. If you'd like to leave a comment and let me know your thoughts about the movie, if you think I'm wrong or if you have more to add to the conversation, I would love to hear what you have to say. If you enjoy talking about books and their adaptations, feel free to subscribe. Leave a like if you would like to, or don't if you don't want to. And I'm gonna get working on Shadow of Night for my next video. Until then, bye.